just going to give everybody a minute to squeeze in. Thanks very much for everybody coming on such a beautiful day in February. When I heard that it was going to be as warm and sunny as it was today, I knew we'd have a great day for this walk. So, as John mentioned, I'm the landscape architect. I was retained by the city to design and implement this first phase of the West Toronto Railpath. I was pleased when I arrived here today to see this sign. This is the first time I've actually seen it. We designed the sign for the City of Toronto. This is our trailhead or trailhead sign. And I'm glad to see it's finally up, because it was just this thing for quite a while. The only thing I didn't quite get was I wanted the rusty red background color, but the city opted for the rust color. But you're going to see a lot of this material in some of the elements that we've created, which is rusty steel. Just very quickly, some statistics on this, just to give you a sense of what we have here. The trail itself is 2.1 kilometers long, and it starts down here at Dundas Street West. You can see Dundas does this incredible maneuver right here, and it goes all the way up to DuPont right here, and ends at Caribou Avenue right up here. So that's 2 kilometers long, a brisk 20-minute walk without stopping, or 5 minutes if you're really cycling fast. I worked very hard to try and make this happen as a ramp, as shallow grade as I could, for a number of reasons. Maybe one of them being somewhat selfish, in that I have 3 young children in strollers, and I thought myself coming down here and getting to a set of stairs that I would have to turn around, because the only access point between here is Bloor Street, which is about 1/3 of the way of the trail. So I didn't want this to be a dead end for anybody who wasn't able to get up there. So we were able to make this work through a number of reasons. One was pushing it very close and making up some of the existing grade there. This was a very expensive feature of the trail, and we got additional funding from transportation, which was absolutely fabulous, because I think it's a key element. We had to create a sheet pile wall. These are long piles that are driven down by a pile driver to hold up the wall on this side, and then obviously put guards all the way on either side that are railings as well as handrails. So that takes you up to Dundas West. This connection here will be what I hope will be the future connection of the trail underneath the Dundas West Bridge to head south to Strawn Avenue. This is a really interesting view of some of the industrial buildings in this area. We have Cadbury here, so you can often smell chocolate being made. This is Scythes, I believe, and they made, or they still make flags. I'm not even sure what this construction is quite new. I just want to talk a little bit about the natural landscape that we have here. The water table is actually very close to the ground here. It's about maybe 2 meters below grade. The soil this is all native soil around here, and it's almost 70% sand, which is very typical of this area of Toronto. And if you're in High Park, you'll see that kind of sand as well. So it's a very dry condition, and that creates the opportunity for what would be a savanna type landscape, which is a small cover of trees, about 30% maximum, and then prairie grasses and wildflowers underneath. Because it's so dry, it would tend to burn naturally through fires, and then that would keep the trees and shrubs from forming a dense forest. So we have maintained the native soil. We used all the native soil we could put down, and then we also brought in more soil, but instead of what is often used as a highly rich type of topsoil, we just used a 70% sand mix as well. So it's very dry and looking here, and but that's because we really wanted to try to maintain the true indigenous character. One of the remnants or the legacy of all the industry along a rail corridor are contamination and pollution. There's significant, or there was significant contamination of both the groundwater and the soil along this entire corridor from all of the adjacent industry, as well as the trains themselves. There's really some quite nasty materials that our environmental engineer listed in quite a bit of detail. These wells that I'm standing on are pumping wells. So in this area, because the groundwater is so high, there's a layer of fuel that is sitting on parts of the groundwater, and that is being removed and remediated by the owners of this property. This allows a truck to come in and pump out any of that material, so to keep it from moving further. We had to remove a lot of soil. When the city bought this piece of land, it was cleaned up to commercial standards, which has a certain degree of removal of contaminants. We had to bring it to parkland standards, and in order to do that, wherever we had a tree planted, we had to remove 1.5 meters of existing soil and have it removed to a regulated facility to take that kind of contaminated material.